All right, what's going on, gang? Hope you enjoyed a nice weekend. Happy Monday, and again, happy holidays to everybody. It's a little chilly out, so I got a hat on, and a little breezy out. It's another reason why I got the hat on. These I wear on a regular basis, just as an FYI, because it's bright out, but I also have baby blue colored eyes, and they're sensitive to the sun. So rather than me squinting like this and talking, I wear the sunglasses. So my apologies if it offends anybody, but I got to do it. So anyway, let's talk about this left field situation for the Yankees, because there's so many different things flying around. We've already done a video and we talked about the options and whatnot. And there's another option available, Michael Taylor, who's a defensively gifted center fielder for the Kansas City Royals, who's coming into his final year before free agency himself. But he is a righty hitter. And even though I brought up, it's pretty obvious that they're looking for a lefty-type contact hitter. We talked about them. I also added Eloy Jimenez, who's not a righter. Not a lefty. He's a righty. So, but if I'm going to go, Eloy Jimenez versus Michael Taylor, Taylor's got the elite glove, and he also grades out at 92% in terms of throwing arm. But Eloy Jimenez has the arm. He has a much better bat. So, if we're going to go with a righty, I'd rather go with a guy who has a better bat. And Eloy Jimenez does that. Okay? But that said, there's a lot of options out there, but my first question is, and I've gotten quite a few people in the comments lately saying we can't trade Jason Dominguez because he's the next Mike Trout or Mickey Mantle. All right, just a question: what has he done to make folks that have said that show that he's the next Trout or Mickey Mantle? What has he actually done? Coming with the hype is one thing. Making the hype real with performance is another. Okay. He just made Double-A. So what has he done for people to continually call him the next Mike Trout or Mickey Mantle is my question. To me, he hasn't done anything yet. Potential is one thing, but performance, and continually rocketing up the system like Anthony Volpe has done is a different story. So just my question. I know he's a switch hitter. He's got a high ceiling and whatnot. He's got some speed, and he's got a bat, so they profile that way, but why call him that? That could also be unfair pressure on him, too. Okay, and then because what it does is it leaves folks with the impression that if he's not, then he's a bust. So that to me is a very dangerous proposition to start. And personally, I don't like tabbing anybody that type of stuff. Okay, so other people have said it. So my question is, why are people saying it? Is it because some beat writer said it? Does anybody have concrete evidence of that? I'm just curious. Now, and then moving on to what's the why do so many people want Michael Conforto right now? And how is he a massive upgrade over the trade options who have got controllable years and are cheaper in terms of salary, will cost prospects obviously, but why Michael Conforto over these guys? Is it because he can just sign him in free agency? Do we think that do we not trust Brian Cashman to pull off a trade that would represent an upgrade over Michael Conforto for left field? And do we not think that he can get one of those Arizona outfielders or a guy like Brian Reynolds? Brian Reynolds, you have to be willing to fork up the price, and it's going to be high. That's obvious, okay? But he is better than all these other guys, okay? And even if his average was a little bit lower this year, he's better than all of them. So, So I want some intel from folks. What are your thoughts? And be sure to subscribe to this channel, because this is the type of stuff we like to have, honest and sometimes hard conversations here. Because I want to get people's honest feedback on stuff. And again, I don't want people to be afraid. If you're going to reference somebody else, okay, fine. But why? I want to know when people see things with their own eyes and can be able to explain why. Because that to me is, it's grounds for a higher conversation. Better conversation here, and it just makes the content better. So if you do subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. If you hope you enjoy the content enough to enjoy this, to have conversations like this, and just to enjoy the videos and the live streams and everything else. And the live streams, we get real. We get straight up real. So, and this coming Saturday, I'm going to have some members. We have a members-only membership option here, too, and we have members come on the live stream and do it with me. We have honest, straight-up conversations. So, I have content creators. I have other people on, and I'm working on other guests, special guests, more high-profile guests. And I'm working on some of those things as well. So stay tuned. But these are my questions, just a few questions, like what has Dominguez done to get that tabbing of the next Mike Trout or Mickey Mantle? Because those are two very, very special players. So, and why Conforto over the rest of the guys? And he's coming off a major surgery. He was good beforehand, but there's no guarantee he's going to be good afterward. And again, if he does it and it's a 1 year, then we have to go through this whole charade again next year. Who to sign for left field, who blah, blah, blah. And if Cashman doesn't get it right, then it's the same thing. Bash Cashman, bash Hal, whatever, bash Boone. Why not go after a younger somebody with some controllable years here? So we have some stability, we have some reliability. Okay, we can actually let them gel. And this is one of the problems I have with my minor leaguers. When they call them up, they don't call them up. They don't keep them up long enough. And if they're up here, they don't play them enough to get a fair sample size. So 1 year of Conforto, if he does well, is great. But I'd rather have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years of someone else so that we can just solidify that position and then move over to other areas of need. I mean, folks might disagree with me. That's totally fine. But again. Is it worth going over the Cohen threshold to bring in a guy like Conforto versus trading for one of these other options for the left field position? So that's my questions, or those are my questions to you this Monday morning. I really want to know what you think. That's why I wouldn't ask them if otherwise, because again, I guess, like I've said before, I learn stuff from you folks just like you learn stuff from me. So I'm not all-knowing. No one is. So that's why I continue to ask these types of questions, and sometimes they're hard. So that one, I bring it up because people have mentioned, you can't trade Dominguez. He's the next Mickey Mantle. Why do you say that? Why? Is it because some guy hyped him up as that next Mickey Mantle a couple years ago? Do you even remember who the guy was? So I don't know. It's a good thought-provoking question for Monday morning. And again, what are your thoughts as to why your pick should be, the left fielder? I really want to know because there's so many different perspectives. There are a ton of different perspectives. So, anyway, any other news comes out today. We've had some stuff yesterday, like Justin Turner off the board to the Red Sox and a couple other folks off the board. So, I will keep it coming with the breaking news. And I think a lot of folks, the trade route's going to pick up because at some point, and I don't think Josh Johnson and Aaron Hicks are going to be, he's having trouble moving them. And I don't think any teams are going to even consider Cashman's having trouble moving. I should be more specific, but it's not that he's not doing it. People just don't have any interest in him right now. And why would they? So, with all the other free agent options available, they're not going to pick Hicks over one of these guys that we talked about. No way. I'm not going to pick, Josh Johnson over Rafael Devers or Justin Turner. It's not going to happen. So, these types of guys, I think, wouldn't be moved if they're moved at all until the end of the offseason. I would be surprised if they're moved prior to that. And even at that pace, because I think the teams want to wait for the other guys to be completely off the market for them to say, okay, now we have to consider a guy like Hicks or Donaldson. Do they bring any value? What type of value? What do we need in return to tolerate this type of contract? And how much were you willing to eat? And what prospect are you willing to fork up and all that stuff? So those guys, I think, are end of off-season type moves. Cashman's going to keep trying to move him, obviously. Torres is the guy with the most trade value of all these guys. So if he's going to move anybody, it's probably going to be Torres. And he'll actually get something in return. So, but that's going to be, to me, that's the situation on that one, too. And give me your thoughts on that one as well. So let's get into it, gang. Have a good day. Talk to you later.